Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Perth Dialogues podcast. Today, we all know that we have seen one nation rising across Australia in popularity, in preferences, in first party preferences. It is going for elections very soon. States like Victoria, uh, local by elections for federal by elections. One nation is everywhere. Most probably it is number three, and in some places it's potentially equal to liberals. So one nation has already put nationals at the fourth place in first party preferences. What gives this rise to one nation? We are all interested, and I am interested. I want to know what's going on. So I have a very good friend. I've invited him, and I'm going to talk to him about this phenomena because he is someone who no one will assume that he will support one nation. But he has come outside and advocated his support for one nation publicly. And that increased my curiosity to know what's going on.
Hello,
Welcome,
everybody.
Simon.
Hello.
Thank you for giving your time on this interesting topic. You recently came out and showed or advocated your support for one nation. And for me, I know your background, and people who have joined our last podcast, they know your background. So it's very interesting why you would support one nation. But for someone who doesn't knows you, let's introduce yourself.
Okay. So, my name is Simon. Now, some people see me as a good, kind human being. Some people see me as an arrogant asshole. It is as simple as that. Now, but one thing I always live my life with a concept called ethical honesty. And there's these two words defines me who I am. And I born in a Bengali family and been living in Australia for more than 2 decades or plus now. And I have my business. I run some businesses in Western Australia in Perth. And I come from a Muslim family and from a family that my mom still believes that a lot of things. Basically, you can say that uh, an 80-year-old lady, how that time of the world and how their beliefs are that when it's a Muslim, Islam, and that in half of the things I tell my mom. So this is basically, this is what exactly I tell to my mom is that, think this way, that our prophet, peace be upon him, is alive right now in 2026 today. All the things that you do as a Muslim to represent Islam, he will be ashamed of you. He will be sad that this is what he get to see, what Islam has become and how Muslims has become. And in another word, basically, that was the polite version. And if I am basically more of a ethically honest, blunt, my Simon version is that there are 1.3 billion Muslims in the world or more, but how many is representing Islam truly? And how many is representing Islam radically? Same goes for the Christian. Same goes for any bloody religion that basically you follow. Someone like me to support one nation is like you got a once in a blue moon, because my mom thought Pauline Hanson was calling her a terrorist. because she is Muslim. It took me more than 2.5 years to change my mom's mindset, to make her understand the difference of true Islam and the radical Islam. And recently, through our business, we talked about few unhealthy or unethical practices that being used as a practice of Islam. So I got quite a bit of backslash. Even the post reached a lot. Even the newspaper journalist basically communicated me and says that, hey, do you want to talk about it? So because they like fear, So I said that, no, I don't want to talk about it. And so that's when basically I decided that no, now I'm going to publicly support One Nation. But before that, I have researched on each party, Labour, Liberal, One Nation, Greens, for more than 6 to 7 years. Because you might be remember, it's been more than 6-7 years I've been telling that one day I'm going to join politics. And when I did this research, I did this, literally I have done this. Say for example, I show you. Then you will understand, because this is what common people of Australia, the 80% population, need to watch. Because I have a famous saying, common people are the main reason why common people suffer. Do not blame a politician. Do not blame a corporation. Do not blame anyone but yourself first. I'm going to say it again. And I hope this line, you promote it properly. So I want to be the most hated person in Australia for saying this. Common people of Australia are the main reason why common people of Australia suffer. Then I started researching these parties. And when I analyzed everything, I found that for 70 plus years, we Australians have been choosing Labour or Liberal. Now, by using ethical honesty, there is not a single person alive in Australia that will have a debate with me that tell me how these two parties has ever brought a collective prosperity. Remember, me and you are those 80%, but show me one Labour politician, one Liberal politician, one other politician that has been elected in power are poor, suffering, or that none. Their friends are not, their circles are not. But the common people, 80% that we vote, we are suffering more day by day. And yet we are making the same thing of, we are like an elephant. We had a chain, and even the chain is off, we are left or right, left or right, left or right. So I said that, okay, let's look at the Greens. But they are too tight for me. And then I found One Nation. But before that, I got offer from Citizen Party and other few things and all. But I seen, and then I saw One Nation. And I said that I'm going to research them. Because everybody called them the racist as fuck and extremist. And then I want to see, because I am an ethically honest asshole. And I am one of those human beings that has been dead clinically, then came back. Not once, more than once. So when I think my emotion level is not like what you have or what majority of the Australians has. I have traveled 67 countries. I have seen too many deaths. And I have seen a lot of things that basically those pride and ego of this race, color, religious bullshit do not touch me. See, I teach my children everything. So when I looked into One Nation, what I seen that they are basically telling a lot of ethically honest thing, which majority of the population of Australia do not understand, because majority of the population of Australia do not understand the definition and how to walk the path of ethical honesty. I can challenge every single Australian this, that find me 100% that you know that do not lie, is 100% honest. Now everybody gonna say, oh, okay, that is only Jesus and Muhammad, Ram and Buddha, all these people can do. We are human. So that is an excuse as well we have. But we do not understand, when we are dishonest for a small thing, a politician can be dishonest for bigger things. Corporation can be dishonest for bigger things. A lawyer can be dishonest, everything. Because it's all together creates the system. And we are the common factor in every equation. But we common people are always selfish. Always self-centric, selfish. Think this way, now the fuel crisis going, a lot of people panic buying, depositing. So these are all selfish people, but are they all bad people? No. They are all good people. But they are scared of suffering for their families, and that what if I can't go to work? What if I can't make money? This and that. But they do not understand, if 26 million Australians unite, that no, we're not going to buy panic buy. Then not a single petrol pump can raise their prices, not a single grocer can raise their prices. But you will see all these 26 fucking million people always about tearing each other apart on the basis of race, color, and religious bullshit. And all the other bullshit basically doesn't matter. Because one day you're gonna fucking die. And after that, what you are gonna leaving for your next generation? Do you want to be one of those that basically your children gonna say, the didn't do anything for us, we are suffering more, like we are telling to our parents? Anyone that on my age can tell that their parents didn't. So when I checked all of this, I said that no, I'm gonna support one nation, because every party is honest party, but one nation is ethically honest party. Now remember the concept of ethical honesty. 90% Australian do not understand to its core. Even you do not. Because it's not only to understand, you have to live it, perform it. And when you do that, you become someone like me that says that he is arrogant. I'm not arrogant. I am just not gonna sugarcoat things of the truth, of reality.
Right.
And that is where basically one nation got my attention, and I said that, oh, this radical Islamic bullshit happened with me. One nation is a party that I support, and I have voted for them in secret, because I'm a small business, so I did not want it to come out, because you know how it is now. Oh, he supports one nation, give the fuck some bad reviews, this shit, that shit, that shit. And that is why I chose one nation, because see, Muslim people hates one nation. There are more than 800,000 Muslims and that. But these 800,000 Muslims also influence at least 15% voters across Australia or more. If I alone can influence at least 10,000 votes that I met to my customer, I can literally tell, if I go publicly on my business page that I'm supporting one nation, thousands of our customer will support, because I talk with everybody. Everyone knows when you come to our food trucks, you get to learn something that you did not know about Australia, its constitution, how the policies works, because we talk about that. Not we sell food, but we educate people with real life, that this is what you need to know, because everyone is getting ruled by a bitch called and is named politics. Politics is the bitch that rules over 8+ billion people in this world, and over 27 million of us. So we basically teach politics to people. And I will not shit you, 70% of my customer base basically gonna vote for one nation. And I'm not gonna tell my business name publicly here, but you personally know that I do have a cult like follower base, business base, and these people just don't buy my food because it tastes good. They support us because of our principle and values. From 2018, we did not bend over. And you have seen how many times we got hit, but we always came on top, because I believe in one thing. tell the truth, but tell it 100%. Now, Muslim people hates one nation. That's why I support one nation, because in Australia, more than 60% Muslims hates radical Islam. But there is not a Muslim leader to stand up for progressive Islam. And I want to stand up for progressive Islam. And I want to challenge openly that the people that throwing mud at my leader, Pauline Hanson, because yes, I admit that she is my leader. And you know, personally, for 7 years, how many leaders, I said, they're not leader, I'm not going to follow them. When Simon going to follow someone, Simon going to find the core. What people say, I don't care. I want to see the honesty. I don't care about your emotion, because honesty has to matter first if we as a common people want that we want to prosper. Now, everybody has a different definition of prosperity, but when it comes to home, education, medical, after retirement, then public transport, there are around 14 to 15 things 27 million Australian users, regardless what the is your race is, what ego you have, what pride you have, whatever you have. Now, can you imagine if Australians simply put their mind into those 15 common goals, Australia can be the next superpower. Because we have the land, we have the resource, we have everything. But that's where. And one nation is talking about all of this, but she is doing it alone. Because, say for example, I have seen Pauline stand up for a lot of radical Islamic crap. Her words are blunt, raw, cut like a sword. The other politicians are telling it, but their words are more of a diplomatic. But that is what we've been seeing for the last 60, 70 years. Diplomacy, sugarcoating talk. Pauline is talking about that. So that's why I supported One Nation. And the thing is that I'm a Muslim, and now I want to stand up against radical Islam. And here is the part that I have never shared. When I first wake up after my last time that I was clinically dead, you know the first line I said? Today I declare war against religion. If Ram, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad all were alive right now, they would be ashamed of 99% of the follower of those religion the world has. And if anyone in the world can prove me wrong, I'll give them everything that I want. And I own few things, you know. The reason for is that it's written in the book, you know. Ram, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, what was the one thing that each book and every religion believed? That these four people never lied from the day they born. Now, you've got to follow everything that basically suits you, but you don't get to walk the path that they walked. Now, you don't have to do everything, because if they're born in 2026, they're not gonna sit on under the sun. They will be sitting in an AC room as well. They would have evolved as well. Because in Bible, Gita, Quran, and Tripitaka, all of these books has one line in common. These books are for those that are wise, not just knowledgeable. Now, nobody understands much of this, but they only interpret how it's benefit them, benefit their wallet. Now, that's why I stand up with Pauline Hanson. And another reason I stand up with Pauline Hanson is that I'm a cutthroat guy. I do not kiss ass. I will tell it is it, if it is even cost me the entire world. But I will not sacrifice my ethical.
So, when you put out your support, and I saw your post on your Facebook, how was the reaction to it, both from your Bangladeshi community, from your Muslim community, from your friends and wider circle?
See,
Yeah.
the page that you see, that's my personal page. And everyone follows me. There are followers of One Nation as well. They will vote for One Nation. And each of these people influence at least 2-3 voters as well. but our main a lot of followers and this and that are in our pages that we maintain. But there I have not put publicly that I'm supporting one nation. There are several reasons for that. One, those pages are our business page, community pages that we run across Perth. That I have few of them, and I'm admin in few, and I know few of the owner of those pages are also gonna support one nation, and that it's an internal link that we talk between, and we understand that okay, this is what's happening. And from the business space, I didn't do it because I do have the aim to stand up as a politician, either a state or federal seat. Because when I get to stand up, that's when the Australia get to see a different kind of politician. As you can see on my profile, it says, I will be one of the very first politician that who will redefine the definition of politics and politician. So I'm gonna lead a path or walk a path that basically the generation politician can say that, okay, let's be a politician like Simon.
Right.
And if I publish now, it doesn't make sense to me because I'm supporting, but I do not have any clear indication from the party or any higher ranking that I will get a ticket. And see, that is the definition of ethical honesty. Yes, I support you, but will I go all in and call out through Western Australia that our 100,000 plus people that we have served and we have talked, and that to call that, hey, I'm publicly supporting one nation. Vote for one nation wherever you are. And that can bring 100,000 votes. Because there are a lot of honest people are fed up. And they like me for this reason, that because in my talk, as you can see in my food pages, a lot of people get pissed off. You are a food page or you talk a lot of that. But I say that I don't care. But see, our page is growing. We have almost 20,000 people in that one page and these people are not that chose to follow us for food, because from 2018 I am like this. So they know that this is how Simon is, and that is what we like about Simon. So if I go public and say that this is the reason that why I support one nation and that, yes, I will do that. But first, Western Australia need to be recognized a good one nation, that here one nation has no activity, which I hope will start because it's still 2 years before election and that. And from the friend circle, as I said, 70+% of my friend circle supports one nation. Even a lot of Bengalis support. I know at least 100 Muslim families that will vote for one nation. Indians will vote for one nation, because when I talked with people, I didn't talk with them that I want a salary, I want all of this benefit or this and that, and that's why I want to be a politician.
So there is a survey which recently came out last year, and which said that 32% of the people don't trust the government. And there is a concept or a suggestion that the rise of one nation is because of this mistrust with the government, basically, which means a mistrust with liberal and labor. 32% of the people don't trust liberal or labor. That's why they are going to one nation. It's not because of one nation per se. What do you think?
If I tell you, Nirmal, please loan me $100, will you give me?
It depends.
I'll give you back.
You're my friend.
I'll give you after 7 days.
Yeah, you're my friend. Yeah. Why not?
After 7 days, if I don't give you back, and I come up with a lot of stories that, oh, this happened, you will forgive me, right, as a friend. But then if I ask you for another $200, you will hesitate for 5 seconds, but you will give me again because you're a good friend. And if I come up with more stories and this and that, then I don't. The next time if I ask you for $500, still you will hesitate maybe for an hour. But if you see that I am bringing, give it to me, you will give it to me. So same thing happened with voters. For 60, 70 years, our parents, our grandparents are choosing Labour or Liberal. So when my parents chose, I saw it, I learned from it, I voted for Labour and Liberal, but I have seen how my parent lived, what they got, what I'm getting. And I'm more educated than my parents. I'm more advanced in my mind through human evolution, and smart as well, because I get to think bit differently. Similarly, a lot of people doing the same thing. So when you have only few choices and two choices and both choices are rotten, you're not gonna go for the apples again. You have two apples, both are rotten. Then you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna try a pear. It still has the same type of feelings, texture and moisture, but it's a pear. That's what people doing. And you cannot blame people for that, because majority of the Australian population are not dishonest, but they are blinded by their knowledge. But knowledge is not wisdom. With knowledge, ego, pride, anger, hate, everything comes. With wisdom, nothing but neutrality comes. Fair thinking. So now majority of the Australian 32% is thinking that I bet for red, I went kaput. I bet for black, I went kaput. So now let's bet for that green in the roulette. There is one slot, and that slot is One Nation. And One Nation can do much better if immigrants, Muslim people, Hindu people forget their religion, race, color, ego. Only simply think that I am Australian, I hold an Australian passport, my children will never go back where I came from. They will be in Australia. Let's do it something for them. Then, to be honest, One Nation can basically win majority. Not Labour, they can topple Labour as well. And One Nation will not win it if people like us don't get included. That's the first question I asked to Senator Tyrone Whitten. So 18th of February, I did had a meeting with Senator Tyrone Whitten. Pleasant guy, and it was very pleasant to chat and that. But you know, my first question when I sat down, my first question is straight up, is One Nation is a white people party? And I didn't look when his lips are moving on that. I looked into his eyes, and his answer was no. But his eyes were a little bit hesitant, because he knows that One Nation has been in a cornered party, and the most people that supported it were white. And a lot of those people from the party has given a bad persona of racism and that to other type of other humans in our society. But things are changing. People like us joining, we are standing up. We said that now, One Nation is not a white people party. It's a One Nation. It's one Australia. That means it's all Australian. If you don't like it, you are the one that go back where you came from. I'm not going back where I came from. You are the one go back where, because you are not understanding the meaning of the word. One Nation. One Australia. There is only one identity, Australian. Now, if that call me racist, I'm a racist then. And that is what that is the main thing, that now the people that calling Pauline Hanson racist, ask them the same question that I just did. Can you rise above ego, pride and religious? Because you are calling Pauline Hanson racist because she is pointing finger to the right thing that happening. Nobody else has the balls to point finger at. You know, if you stand next to me and you are smelling as F, like from your sweat, and if I tell you, bro, you smell, that's being rude. But that's not being rude. That's because your nose cannot understand that you are smelly, and a lot of people are standing here. So other people are looking at you. Oh, look at this person is unhygienic. Oh, he smells like a bloody goat. So me telling you that means me working as a mirror in front of you that look. So put something. So that makes you better, because you never know. You might be going to an office. You might be going for a meeting. So, but most people now do not understand the meaning of honesty versus being polite. Dishonesty has become the new definition of honesty. So that's why a lot of immigrants especially calls Pauline Hanson racist. But these immigrants, I'll be asking them if they ever wants to asking like a face to face or anything. I'll be asking, who you loyal to? Say for example, if I ask a Muslim, say pick a country, Nirmal, you pick a country. If I pick a country, they're gonna say it's a one nation supporter picking a country. You tell me a country.
Let's start. The biggest Muslim is Bangladesh.
Okay. Say for example, if I I have a friend, Bengali friend in Sydney, and the best part of my friendship with him is that, can you imagine, for 21 years, I have not seen this friend face to face ever. We met on Yahoo MRC chat and we become friends. And from that, we always been friends. I came to Australia, he came to Australia, and he's still friend. And we met face to face, and he's still friend for almost 26 years now. And when I told him that I'm supporting one nation publicly, he told me the first line, fucking Pauline Hanson is a fucking racist. Seriously, this is quote unquote and that. And then I explained to him and I asked him few questions. One of the question is that what she did to you, that you calling her racist, you calling her hater of Islam. He can't give me a solid answer. There is no plausible answer that basically a sane, conscious mind, a mind with knowledge and wisdom together, they say, okay, I understand. You know, when a child does something and you ask that what? Then he tells that, oh, they said that there wouldn't be a disrespect women. How? Now, you see how she wear burqa. Like that. I'm against that too. I'm a Muslim. Because when we are living in a 2026 world, where basically nuclear bomb to everything is possible, this is security threat. If our prophet, peace be upon him, was alive, he will be telling it as well that don't need to, because that's radicalism. Wear a hijab. If you want to wear, show your face. Because of one nation, there are a lot of things has been come to truth that basically Labour government said that we have done it, but it was the brainchild of one nation. Liberal has done the same thing, but no party has ever mentioned that this came from one nation. So,
Okay.
You got your answer why 32% have supported.
Yeah. So there is an alternate theory as well. The theory is because of the cost of living crisis and housing crisis and recently the Bondi attack, people have realized or gone against the huge surge in migration which is happening under Labour.
Okay.
And Pauline Hanson has been saying for so long that we are having high migration, please reduce it. So this time, people have suddenly realized the effect of huge migration, and one nation has been saying it. So people have naturally gone there and said, yes, this party has been saying this for so long. My question to you is, do you think we are having huge migration and it is affecting our way of life? And do you think we should reduce migration as one nation says, and especially from a particular countries which it wants or suggests?
Just don't suggest. Just say that from Islamic, a lot of radical Islamic country. See,
I don't know the list. I know the liberal list.
Those are the pointing the statement. I have seen it, and it's basically when you interpret it, ethically honest interpretation without any sugarcoating is that yes, reduce immigration, but also block immigration from certain radical Islamic country. That's it. And my answer to them would be yes, immigration has gone out of control. Here is why. I'm just going to use one area, skill migration. So there are accountant engineers coming here as a skill migrant. They are driving Uber and that they don't have a job. Now, if I am the government, I am allowing certain visa. Am I not responsible to make sure there is a job? It's like I am sending you to toilet having a shit, but I'm not providing you a toilet seat to shit on, or that I'm just giving you a plain floor. Just sit on there and shit and wipe with your own cloth. But the people are not understanding this a small thing is that how come you can allow people to come here as a skilled resident when you do not have a job ready for them? And check the immigration facts, and there's a plenty of them. Then your second question, so that's why I stop immigration for few years. Only bring necessary, say doctors, those that we need, worker, laborer, because these are the things we need. I don't need to bring in another accountant. I don't need to bring another civil engineer, because those are the things here TAFE can produce it. Invest behind our own children, own citizen. Yes, we are fortunate enough to come here decades and decades ago, but we have put the effort. We have integrated to the culture of this country. We didn't bring my radical shit from my country. We didn't bring my corruption here. Then your second question, that stop immigration from a lot of other countries and this and that. Yes, but not from a country that only because that country is labeled as a radical Islamic state, because that would be a religious discrimination, racial discrimination, and that also do not send a message that the Australia we want to build. But yes, say for example, tell me one radical Islamic country in your opinion, Nirmal.
I can't say, but in Australia, it is said that the country is Lebanon, where the most people come who are usually found in violent cases or radical cases.
So you are saying that according to Australian legal, publicly published statistics, Lebanon is classified as a radical Islamic country. Yes or no?
Said that most of the people involved in violent cases or radical cases are Lebanese Muslims. This is what is said.
Okay. In that case, let's say from Lebanon. But yes, say for example, Lebanon might have a neurosurgeon who can do much good here and want a change of life. Bring those type of people. But what's the point of bringing a refugee when we have hundreds, thousands of our own people living as a refugee? Asylum. If my own underwear has holes and my balls are falling off, what's the point of donating a brand new underwear to someone else?
Very true.
So what's wrong with Pauline saying that stop it? But people are only understanding that one line. She's saying stop it. Media is only telling that stop it, but go read the whole statement. It has a policy, says that stop it for a certain time. Stop it from the certain, not just, no, you can, if you're a Lebanese, you can come to this country. I don't think Pauline is like that, because people don't know about her personal life, but I know, I have done extensive research. I have researched every single leader, that so-called leader that leads the party or have an influence in the party, that to see is this is a leader that worth following, saying that yes, you are my leader. So that's basically it. And Bondi Junction crisis. Now I do go to dark web quite a bit, and that there are a lot of evidence that it might be plotted. But the thing is that I'm not the one to decide it, or you are not the one to decide it. We have a legal system, we have investigator and this and that. They can find out and this and that. But when you add the facts of Bondi thing, a lot of things doesn't make any logical and factual sense as timeline, how the whole situation has went. Then the cost of living crisis. Now, cost of living crisis, there is one line I will say, we common people are the main reason why we common people suffer. Because cost of living crisis started in 2014. That time when 18%, I think, of Australian was under cost of living crisis. That time the 82% did not give a flying. Then it increased. Still, when it was like 30%, people, the other 70% didn't care. So my question to everyone today, when someone, a small segment was suffering, you did not stand up for them. So what is the guarantee today someone will stand up for you? And that is what happening. 82% people suffering in cost of living crisis, but 82% do not have the balls to unite. And I start asking the right question without forgetting, I am white, you are black, you are brown, your accent is different. That is the biggest problem in Australia.
Recently, the South Australia, it was South Australia premier who said that if we stop, and he was addressing One Nation voters, and he said that if we stop bringing the migrants to Australia, who is going to wash your bum when you are in aged care?
Now that's a Labour politician said.
Labour politician, Labour premier.
Labour said that if you don't vote for us and that, who's gonna wash your bum at the end of the when you're old?
Exactly. So I was thinking, if we have only skilled migration, why does the labor expects the skilled migrants to come and wash someone's bum? Why not be in skilled jobs? But there is a question that if we stop the skilled migration, and One Nation has always mostly been against immigration, how are we going to support all these industries, which care industries, aged care, child care, those things?
I have read into One Nation policies and such. Nowhere it says that stop immigration 100%. So if I am sitting on a leadership chair or elected chair, in my electorate, if I have 10,000 elderly people, it is my responsibility to make sure that they are looked after. So I will be making a way to do, and for that, the first thing would be find the people from our country that we have, and then find the people from other country who are already into those profession. Because if you look into that, a lot of aged care that come, they have never done a month of aged care in their entire life in India, Bangladesh, China, Vietnam, South America, everywhere, in Western country as well. But they are taking the advantage of the immigration system and coming here and doing that. So instead of that, if we say, for example, we need 10,000 bum wiper, okay? Now we've sent message to every European country that we need 6,000 from you. We send message to 1,000 from China that we want 1,000 bum wiper that already doing their job for last 3 to 5 years in their own country. Bring those people in, because those people will say thank you and they will be grateful and they will do that job because they are living. That's their profession. People coming in this country and they are doing only 1 or 2 years of those things, and after that they are changing jobs and keep creating the vacuum is still there. And that is the fault of the Labour government policy and also a liberal government policy, because these are the two parties has been power and setting up the policies year after year. And One Nation is saying that we're going to change it, we're going to create a system that works for everyone. Because you and me, we're gonna be old to that age in 15, 20 years if we are alive. So who gonna wipe our bum? Our children is not gonna do that. This is not an Asian country. They did not learn that culture where me and you will wipe our parents' bum if they're in paralysis. And that, because we born in that type of evolution, human evolution. This is different evolution. And the Labour leader that say, Labour politicians, whoever, I can't even remember the name, said that is called unethical politician, because it feels like that you are blackmailing me and you are indirectly saying that if you don't vote for me, your bum is not gonna get wiped. Now, I don't wanna vote for that type of mentality, because a definition of a true leader is that, yes, Nirmal likes me, Nirmal supports me. But Nirmal's friend do not like me, do not support me. Yes, it's okay. I am gonna win his support. I am gonna do enough good that one day he has to say, I hate this Simon, but now he has bring prosperity. I support him finally. Because that is the meaning of true leadership. And that is the type of leader this country needs to rise. So it can bring change. Say this fuel crisis is done by Liberal Party and Labour Party. It's a one-line statement, but the explanation is almost will take half an hour. But it is done by these two parties, and nobody can prove me wrong.
There is a distinction between immigration numbers and targeting people by religion and ethnicity. So if we say we don't want this person, we don't want this person, we don't want this person, how do we actually define that we don't want Muslims, or we won't want this kind of Muslim, or we don't want South Asian, we don't want this, we will want this? How do we define this thing?
It's very easy to define, but you have to throw your emotion in the toilet and flush it out. You just have to work with ethical honesty, where you are coming to a enlightenment level where basically the prophets are. See it from I remember I have a concept called nobody's point of view. That means the ego, pride of these type of things do not touch you, so you can make a judgment or a decision which basically beneficial for the 90%. This 10% is the one that already controlling us, so they will never gonna like it. And defining this is how you can do it easy. Say for example, I want to bring people from Bangladesh. Change the citizenship test. Include a lot of other type of question which defines, is this person is an ethically honest? Is this person is a radical believer? That and that. Change the system. That 21-5 question or 20 question, that this means nothing. That doesn't define that you are eligible to sit for an Australian citizenship test or to become Australian. Those questions, my 12-year-old can memorize them. So we always use emotion to make things complex when there is very easy, justifiable, honest, 100% fair solution. So for example, I have an ethical honesty test. It has around 150 questions. I don't even think 20% of Australia's politicians gonna pass that test. But that is the thing, like change will only come when we common people want change a bit our thought process. Say for example, in Sydney, I have seen in the news that underage child, 13-year-old girls being child bride, and that. Now, if I was the prime minister of this country, I will be sending forces to pick that people up, and I will be telling them no, because Islam do not allow 13 or 12-year-old girls to get married. Because I know people say that Muhammad, peace be upon him, married and this and that, but that is only one line, that when Pauline Hanson said that, oh, Islam's or this, the line that how media publishes it. But read, do, because it has been said again in the first chapter of Quran. It said Quran is for those that are wise. And check the situation when our prophet has done it, and when he had his first relationship with that bride, everything. So don't just jump into conclusion but that was 1500 years ago, when there was nothing called humanity. People didn't understand the concept of humanity. People are killing babies, this and that and that. So that is a different type of time we are talking about, because religious is evolving. What is the first religion that people knew? Hinduism, or that belief. Then a Hindu become Buddhist, become Buddha. It evolved. From that, Christianity evolved. And from the same bloodline of Jesus, Muhammad came. So God has sent us message one by one that, look, I am a creator, I create. So first I come up with this concept, and I have taught you that to see. Then I seen that there is more improvement can be done. So I have given you that wisdom. Then I gave you the Christianity, then I gave you Islam. But then, as soon as those people died, everything got effed up. People made their own rules and everything.
Okay. So you referred to Pauline Hanson wearing that burqa in the parliament,
Mm.
and you suggested that why not let women wear the hijab? So one nation, and some people would say it's against the, it's enforcing that hijab and burqa or chador to the woman, so it's regressive. Some sides say no, it's their woman rights or it's a religious thing. Why are you getting into it? Where do you stand? Because it generates two sides of uh, fighting.
I have researched One Nation Party and their structure, the people that involved in it, as much as I can from online. And I'm a financial member as well. And from everything that I can get, there is not even two people in one nation is knowledgeable and wise enough to understand Islam. And that's why I joined the One Nation, because what you do to me, if I have some wrong idea about something, and you can bet your life that the idea, the conceptual idea, that the knowledge I have, there are some dots in it that not 100% correct. You will try your best to change me and make me understand that, look, Simon, this is. So that is exactly what I am trying to do. And I'm joining One Nation, and I'm going to talk about Islam and this and that. And I'm going to tell our leadership that, look, this is the Islam we need to liberate. My slogan is not let's eradicate Islam. My slogan is let's liberate Islam. Let's liberate Muslim under the grasp of radical Islam. And more than 50% of Australian Muslim will support that. Because majority of the Muslim that lives in Australia ran out of radical Islam and came to Australia because they did not wanted to live in a radical Islamic bullshit. And that's while you brought these child bride things. As I said, if I'm a prime minister, I will be picking them up. I'll be picking the man up. I said that, why the f you married that? It's not possible in this country. Get out of this country if you want to do that. Not in my country when I'm a prime minister of this country. Simple as that. I'm the leader. That 13-year-old child is like my daughter. Simple as that. And our prophet married, peace be upon him, married 4 times.
11.
He had 4 wives. No.
11.
Total. No, those are basically, you see, Quran, and after that a lot of hadith came, and basically 90% hadith does not have 100% honesty in it. It has been used to manipulate the people, that those people that wrote the hadith, so they can live on them. They can have power on them. Our prophet always said, even on his dying bed, he has said, there is hadith about is that follow Quran. Do not follow what is written outside of it. So when it comes to Islam, I only follow Quran. I do not follow any hadith. And what we have seen on the deathbed or everything, that because I studied a lot of it, and that every time he married is after one after another, there was a situation, a death, and that, and that. That's what Quran says as well. Quran says that you can marry. But say, for example, you have one wife. Your first wife has to approve it and choose the bride for you to become your second wife. Now find me 100 wife will want to do that. Exactly. So Quran says that I'm not going to stop you from doing that. Allah said, I'm not going to stop you from doing that. But you have to seek the blessing and permission of the first wife. Without that, if you do that, you are not going to heaven. And I will not forgive you until your wife has forgiven you. So can you imagine that? And now in the radical Islam, people will say, oh, our prophet can forgive it. No. Quran says that he will or she will not be forgiven until the person forgives you who has you done the wrong to. So that is where basically a lot of that, but it's still a early stage, and I hope there is enough time and I believe that our leadership is not stupid. They are wise, they have knowledge, and they will see that there are plenty of people, immigrant also will support and supporting one nation. Every single day is rising, but our leadership has to reach out to them, because without them, one nation will never be coming to power to create a prime minister or create a president or create a government.
Mm, mm. I think on the marriage thing, someone said me this, that mostly people go to that for marriage to a child, and say our prophet did it. And this is a Pakistani writer who said this. He said, if you want to do that, start with where the prophet started, which is you go and marry Khadija, a woman like Khadija, who is older than you, who is a businesswoman, and who is a widow. Start
Exactly.
from there, see
Yes.
how many Muslims will do that.
And another thing is that start from there how our prophet started. From the day he born, he never spoken a single word of lie. That's why he was rewarded with the name called Alamin on the age of 7. And that word Alamin, not many people in the world ever has been given to. Start from there. Find me 100,000 Muslims in this world that do not lie. Find me 100,000 Christian that really follows the path of Jesus. Nobody. It's just religion is a very good business when you are unethical and dishonest.
So there is a report from 2025 from Australia's special envoy to combat Islamophobia, and he made a lot of recommendations. That report makes uh, anti-discrimination law, hate crime law, and also mandating Islamophobia education for MPs. One nation said, all useless thing, we're not a part of this. So you tell me, how big a problem of is there Islamophobia? How big it is a problem, and what do we need to learn or do about that Islamophobia if it is that big problem?
Actually, there is no Islamophobia in Australia. Here is why. As I said earlier in the chat that we have more than 100,000 customer base and more than 20% is Muslim. I don't see Islamophobia in any of them. Now, why Islamophobia has been used in Australia is to create political vacuum so other foreign power can get into and keep the system busy. Because show me, where is Islamophobia? Where do you see? You live in Perth. Have you seen any Islamophobia in whole Western Australia? There is only one place in whole Australia, maybe Islamophobia or people that is basically Sydney. In one, few suburbs. There is nothing else in Australia, Islamophobia, this bullshit and that. There are plenty of Muslims that basically this and that. You know, in Morley, there is how many Muslims lives? Shitload.
Okay. Uh, when the Bondi terror attack happened, the two people who were shooting were Muslims, so there was a lot of anger against them. But the person who actually saved the Bondi hero, he's also a Muslim. There's good Muslim, there's bad Muslim. But when Pauline Hanson recently said that there is no good Muslim, how do you define who is a good Muslim, who is a bad Muslim, who is a radical Muslim, who is a moderate Muslim?
I will exactly do what my prophet, peace be upon him, did. Because this is not the first time a human said that there is no good Muslim, there is no Islam, there is no good Islam and such. In my prophet's time also it has been told. What prophet did? Did prophet hate them? No. Did prophet got angry on them? No. What he did, he went to them. He said that, will you be my friend? And let me show you. You do your, I do mine. But let me show you that Now, how many Muslim people ever went to Pauline Hanson and told Pauline Hanson that, Pauline, there are two sides of Islam. Let us show you the beauty of Islam, the progressive Islam, the true Islam that would have happened if my Prophet, peace be upon him, was alive today. Because no Muslim can put their hand on their chest and says that if our Prophet was alive right now, he will still tell the same rule he told 1500 years ago. He will not, because he will also make the rules based on current world, but he will have one thing behind him: ethical honesty. Because when he made a decision, he did it out of biasness. He did not say, oh, he is good, he is my friend, that nothing. He said that everyone is my people, my ummah, and I am fair to all of them as my Allah is. Similarly, what Australia has seen, or that is all basically hate towards her when she tried to stand up against radical Islam. Because if you look the full interview, which I have watched, it has, she said, but then she said that no, radical Islam and that. So the thing is that when someone only getting hate from Muslim people for 20 plus years, I want to be one of them that to show that no, what you seen, that is radical Islam. That is from a small group of people. Reach out to the bigger group of people that is silent, that is scared of radicalism. They don't want any hassle in their life. That's why they just stay like that and quiet. But people like us have the courage to stand up. And that's what we want to see. So what my leader said, I support it. But by supporting it, I am also going to show her that, look, this is the other side of Islam, that you're going to love it. Because it is exactly what you say. Because if you look into the character of Pauline Hanson when she tells and what she has stand up against in the Senate and Parliament, she is standing up against all the unjust. Islam has always told, when you see unjust, do not walk away, stand up to it. She is doing the same thing. She is standing up against radicalism, hate. She is standing up to that. She is standing up to a lot of aboriginal corruption going on. She is saying that where is our taxpayers' money going? We want that. So she is doing basically a lot of things that Islam promotes. That is the sign of true Islam. That if you are a true Muslim, this is how you're gonna live your life, and that is how you're gonna behave, character, and everything. She's doing that. But the thing is, someone has to be there to show it to the people. And that's basically a lot of Muslims has to do, and I think it will happen. And if one nation at the end do things that, yes, all the Muslim peoples are bad, then one nation will never win in this country in the next 30 to 40 years, because 15 to 18% of vote influenced by the Muslim voters. There are 39% population do not believe in any religion, no religion. So that means these minds are more switched on, but they do believe in discrimination, and that they're not going to support Pauline nation. Then elderly population, then Vietnam population, all the immigrants, they're not going to support either. So, but does one nation promote all of this? No. One nation is simply saying that no radicalism. And only radicalism. See, for example, in Australia, we haven't seen any Christian radicalism. We haven't seen any Hindu radicalism. We haven't seen any other radicalism, but we have seen a lot of radical Islam. Child bride and this and that and that. Now we can say that there is epistine files and all the Christian and everybody's in there, and there is not a single Muslim in those files. So that's another like that. But we don't care about what happened in there at this point. We need to fix our country, Australia, first. As I said, I need to fix my own underwear first. So similarly, Australia has seen the radical Islam and Bondi shooting. The person saved them was a Muslim, but that is a straight up. But the two that shooted, one of the person has 6+ police record, and he has several gun license. My question to Labour government or the Liberal government, whenever he acquired it, how can a person that has 6+ record can get several gun license? He was on the watch list of the intelligence agency. So when he was leaving the country, what you guys seeing? You're sucking each other thumb. So hypothetically, indirectly, isn't it like that? I knew what he is doing, but I sat down and let it unfold because so I can use it for my political favor. Or it can be happen is that, say for example, he is one of those greedy Muslim that I gave him a lot of money or some sort of benefit or brainwash, and I used him, but I am not a Muslim myself either. Because if you analyze the Bondi killing, it does not end up into the Islam. It ends up a combination of radical Islam and political planning behind this murder.
Okay. So how do you define radical Islam? Like, if you have to explain to me or someone.
One, no child marriage. That's radical Islam. Number two, another one would be, I am Muslim and I am superior than you because I'm going to heaven because my prophet, peace be upon him, said so. And every infidel, everyone that believer of other religion will go to hell. Because they gonna go to heaven or hell is the decision of God, Allah, Bhagavan, whatever you think of. It's not my judgment to make. Quran did not give me the right to judge someone based on that. It says that those that do not believe, but it also says in Bible, it also says in Hindu, it also says in the Tripitaka. So that means why we human can't think this way, that God is a creator. If God, those that believe God, that today I'm creating, see, I write songs. So today I'm sitting and I have created a song about Anthony Albanese. Tomorrow I wrote a song about Pauline Hanson. Similarly, God has created as first dinosaurs, then he created humans. So we are an experiment to him. He just wants to see what we do. And if you see Bible or Islam, see for example, this is the radical Islam. Now think this way, Nirmal, how many children you have? Two. So one is definitely eldest and one is definitely youngest. Now think your eldest child is the shaitan and your youngest child is human. So you told your eldest child, hey, as of today, your brother or your sister, your sibling is as smarter than you, better than you. You have to say, yes, sir. You have to bow because he is a smarter or she is a smarter. So what do you think? Do you think your eldest child will say, yes, Papa, I do it? Do you think? No. So if God has created us and God has created Shaitan, we are the two child of God. Shaitan was created by God before us. Shaitan is the eldest child. I am, human is the youngest child. So when we both didn't agree, what as a father you said? You said that, okay, go to the house for next 1 month. I'm gonna let you guys play out and let's see who is a smarter. We are the two child basically racing and trying to prove that I am better than you.
Right. So another question is that one nation is the loudest critic or doesn't like halal certification.
What?
The concept of halal certification in Australia. And you had faced some issue because of halal certification in your business.
Oh, my that post got more than million views.
So
And
what is the halal certification? What do you think is the place of halal certification in Australia? And what do you think of One Nation's opposition to?
I support One Nation. But in order to implement that, we have to have a system where nobody can make a business out of faith. We have to have halal, but it's not should only be justified by a piece of paper that basically become a business in Australia. A lot of businesses buys non-halal meat and have a halal certificate to save money, because halal meats are more expensive. When you get a halal certificate, the halal certificate authority will tell you these are the suppliers that you can buy halal from. These are our approved supplier. So that means there is commission. Commission is haram in Islam. So my question is that what type of effing halal you are? You do not live a halal life, and only comes to food, you only ask for halal. You lie, you talk shit behind people's back, you do dishonesty, you do unethical things every single day. And when it comes to food, you are only asking halal, and you are telling that, oh Allah, forgive me. Because I am human, my heart is weak, I have given up to temptation. Do you think Allah is stupid? Allah is watching everything, and Allah is not going to forgive you, because Allah is nobody to forgive. Allah has given us the Quran, and it says you have to pay for your consequences before I forgive you. There is nowhere in Quran it says that, okay, you can do every sin possible and I'll forgive you like that. No. There is always a consequences. It's written in Quran in the first chapter, first Surah Fatiha. It tells a lot of things. So any Muslims that believes that, oh, I'll cry, nah, you're gonna become a barbecue in hell for your things that you thought that Allah will forgive, because Allah will not forgive until the consequences forgives you, because your free will is the scale of judgment on the final day. And that free will gonna decide every single decision, actions that you have done in your lifetime, what consequences it has brought to other people. Do you know when our prophet used to walk, if he used to see an ant, he will walk around it. He will not kill it. Killing an ant in Islam is even haram, taking a life. So all this Allahu Akbar, Naraye Takbir that goes around the world, none of them going to heaven. If Quran is true, none of them are going to heaven. They are going to hell. Shaitan is going to barbecue them. So it's basically, there is no, to be honest, there is basically nothing to say to human race or Islamic that and that, because everyone deep inside knows. Nobody knows your truth better than you, Nirmal Singh. So you know at the end of the day, yes, you are living this life by doing everything, but at the end of the day, that last second when you're gonna die, I love that last second, because I have witnessed it, I have felt it, so I've seen it. You know what I mean?
But there's a whole section, or the majority Muslims will say that halal is a very core religious requirement, and I need to have the halal food, and I need to know the food is halal. So I need to have the certification, and every food, even if it is vegetarian, needs to have a halal certification. So
Yes. Say
where
for
do you think?
example, if say if I get to talk in One Nation meeting or this and that, I will be advocating for disband every single halal authority that gives certificate in Australia and create one single authority run by government. And that authority, like councils and that, and it becomes the part of it, and it becomes, because there are 800,000 Muslims, and it's gonna grow to a lot more, because all the Muslims, we're gonna have babies, this and that, and new generation Muslims, this and that. So it's gonna grow. It's not gonna go down. So why not we bring it in a way that it stops being a business? That is the problem of One Nation, because One Nation knows that halal bullshit has become a business in this country, and it is promoting radicalism. When I talked about halal and this and that, I got crucified. But here is the fun fact. I got more than 1,200 followers within 2 days, and every one of them are Muslim. Because when we got crucified in Halal Food Western Australia pages several times on this, I did not bend over. I said that this is unjust. This is not the true face of Islam. This is radical Islam. Because you do not live a life of halal, and I live a life of halal. I don't lie. I do honest things. I donate. I do, and I donate 1/3 of my income. I pay everything. How many Muslims in Australia that pays proper zakat, proper donation according to Quran? Not even 5%. If anybody can show me they do, I'll basically change my name, but they don't, because that's the nature of the greed. Halal has to this. There are hundreds of authorities that gives halal certificate. Who gave you the authority to give you a halal certificate? Because you are a Muslim and you are an imam. You have memorized Quran. I memorized Quran. So instead of that, I will advocate to one nation that make it. If there would be a business, if there would be a money for the certificate, let it come to the national treasury instead of some group of Muslim people who are already living a radical life. Because if you look into many halal authority, they are the promoter of radical Islam. So Pauline Hanson is not wrong, but she may not be telling it in a way that Muslim people will understand. See, if you publish this part of the video to the Muslim people, I think more than 50% Muslim people in Australia will agree with me. I have more than 20,000 Muslim people that over the last 1 year that I have served, and basically they all come. There's plenty of Muslims here, but here is another fun fact. There are plenty of Muslims in Australia that when they came to this country, they said no religion. It's a fact as well.
But there's the other side, that whoever does the halal certification, be it the halal authorities or be it the government, halal certification is here to stay. It always will remain here. But halal certification also restricts the food choices of non-Muslims.
Not really.
It does.
Not really. Here is how, because plenty of restaurants and that sells pork and has halal certificate. Sells alcohol, has halal certificate. A lot of them in Morley alone, where we have businesses, and that there are at least 50 places has halal certificate that sells alcohol and pork. So it can coexist. We just have to look it in a different angle instead of radical bullshit.
Okay. There's other places where it restricts, and I know it because I don't eat halal. But
what, they don't allow you to eat there because you are not Muslim?
No. From my understanding, what it does is it restricts the supply chain. So, as a Sikh, I'm not supposed to eat halal. But all the sources of chicken and like steggles, the main sources are all halal certified. So there is no way for me to get any meat which is non-halal. So all my meat is halal.
Why you are not?
I am not supposed to eat
now
halal.
my next question: as a Sikh, why you are not supposed to eat halal? Why?
There's various reasons, but what I'm saying is, Muslims are supposed to eat halal and we are not supposed to eat halal. But all my meat, because of halal certification, is now halal.
Exactly. So what is the way to get over it? The bullshit of religious, this type of darkness, that, oh, I can't. Let's go with science. Which way is better? Let's follow that. Because
okay, I'll tell you. In Australia, it's a very good system. Like before halal certification, it's a very good system. They said the Australian requirement is you can't kill an animal without stunning it. So if you stun the animal, you can kill it for slaughtering or whatever. In halal, it is required that you don't stun it before
who said?
slaughtering.
Who said?
I can give it's on the website of all those.
Show me a line in Quran that you can't.
I'll give you the link of the Mirabuka Mosque.
As I said, those imam, whoever says that, I want to challenge them publicly to tell me that, show me a line in the Quran that says it's not halal. because you are making your own interpretation, and that in order to keep your imamship and this bullshit and that bullshit. Because I studied the Quran. In Quran it doesn't say, so you can, and that is also halal. I openly challenge 1.3 billion Muslims to show me a line in the Quran that you cannot. Because, as I said, I only follow the Quran and its words. I don't give a flying fuck about what another Islamist Imam said, because God has given him a free will and brain, and I have a free will and brain as well, and I am wise. I don't have a knowledge, and I wise, and I read the word of Allah as it should be written, without ego, without desire, without greed, without pride, with only humbleness, that I am nothing. I'm not even a sand dust in this existence. And that is when you can understand the humbleness of Bible, Gita, Quran, Tripitaka, every book, because it's all the same. There is 9 principles in these 4 books. It's exactly same. But I'm not going to tell that. Because I wrote a book, and you know the first 2 lines of that book, I have written 9 book. It's a chapter. It's like a 9 chapter, and the first chapter, the first 2 lines, it says, Quran is right, yet it is wrong. Bible is right, yet it is wrong. Read or not read, understand or not understand. It is the choice of your free will, and your free will be the scale of judgment. And after that, I have explained a lot of areas, because when Jesus died, there was Bible, and after that it has been written few times and things got added, but those are not added by Jesus. Similarly, what if it has happened to Quran as well, and our blind faith and belief did not let us see it for 1456 years or 1458 or something, but approximately that time. Because when Prophet was born, Christianity was ruling the world. So he said to himself before he met Allah that why there's so much pain in this world, why everybody is crying, why everyone is suffering, what is the way out of it. So then he purified the Bible. But then after my prophet's death, the Quran was also, or maybe changed a bit, and that's why the first pages, few pages in the Quran, it says Quran is for those that are wise, because a wise person will understand. If they or she read the Quran with a humbleness that require, it will open the brain that look, then the truth and the lies comes out. And that's why I want to be a politician. Because when I get a politician, I get a bit of a police protection and this and that. And I get to teach Quran again to this whole world that, look, I said Quran is right, yet it is wrong. Bible is right, and yet it is wrong. Now read the explanation. Then let your free will decide if it is or not. Because there is nowhere in Quran it says that stunning is not halal. There is nowhere. So any Muslim says that they are either not knowledgeable or they are following a blind belief, which is also a non-forgivable sin in Islam. Quran says, do not follow anyone blindly. And if we follow that, my own mother is going to go to hell before anybody else, because she believes everything Imam says. Here is the best part. I was 17-year-old, and the Imam that my mom used to basically go, oh, no, like a yes, huzur. I and few of my friends caught that Imam under his child boy in his own quarter, and then we took him out, tied him on the lamppost, and beat the hell out of him. Then put honey on his body and put ant on that. But this is in 1990s, long ago. old school judgment. And then I told my man, this is the Imam that you believe, you're going to go to hell as well. Because my mom is a blind believer. And most of the Muslims in this world, they do not read Quran. They do not understand it. They are just a blind believer of what Imam said. So if the Mirabuka mocks Imam said that if it is stunning is Allah, I challenge that Imam to show me in the Quran where it is written. Forget about the hadith. I can write a hadith as well. I have seen it in my dream. I wrote it. Hadith is written by those that basically, I told Nirmal is that Pauline Hanson is beautiful. Then Nirmal said Pauline Hanson is a beautiful woman. Then it went to 100 years and it became totally something else. That's what hadith is.
It is.
Quran has the answer. Bible has the answer if you believe in religion, because everything, for one thing, everything goes to this 9 principle that humans should follow, and then everything changes.
Okay. You said you wanted to be a politician. One Nation is known for being against multiculturalism, against One Nation, against high immigration. And you and me are migrants. You are a Muslim. We are all brown people.
I'm not a migrant. I'm an Australian. I'm an Aussie. See the mindset.
No,
That
what I'm
is
saying
what
is,
One Nation is standing up for. That, you see, I can give at least 100 examples from Morley that they make money here. They send 70% their income to back home to build a 5-story houses, buy hotel, this and that. They do not use that money, invest that money in this country. So basically, Australia is a punching bowl for you, or by means. See, as you said, you said you can think still that you're a migrant. I don't think I'm a migrant. I'm a fucking Australian. I'm an Aussie. My passport, my belief, my core, everything is Australian, and I integrated. That is what One Nation has stand for. One Australia. Nobody is telling that you cannot have your cultural belief. But do not try to post that your country's cultural belief into Australian culture. Integrate it. Like, see, Holi. When Holi happens, it's more non-Hindu people goes to Holi in Australia than that. See, it's a culture. It becomes fun for everybody. A lot of temple that is that like a Gurdwara. I go to Gurdwara to eat. The food is awesome. And I go, because when I go there, I say that I am here to say praise to my Lord. Because that's the Lord I believe. But I also want to be with all the other creature that my Lord made to understand what is their beauty come from. Because every wisdom is given by the Lord. So that's how basically, and that is what One Nation has stands as well, that don't try to change Australia's cultural, integrate it. If you look into Pauline Hanson, she always said, those that do not want to integrate, we don't want them. And I am with it. Because home is where the heart is. And if your heart is not here, you shouldn't be abusing this country like some foreign nation that are doing that to our Australia for last 70 years, looting our country. Foreign companies and that, and Australians are still dumb and sleeping. They don't care because they are too busy with race, color, religious bullshit. They are forgetting that first identity. I'm a fucking Australian.
So this is my question, that, One Nation is viewed as a particular marker, and we have all those markers. So do you think the One Nation is becoming more acceptable to more and more people? And more people are,
See,
the party is evolving.
if you look into One Nation starting, they didn't have a single non-white people in their party. Liberal didn't. 90% of Australian politicians are white. But in last 7-10 years, it has changed. Who brought the change first? Labor. That's why Labor get to rule again and again, because Labor has chosen the leaders from every community to become Australian. And when One Nation first started, they didn't. But look at One Nation today. 30%, I would say, of the One Nation supporters are not white people. people like me. But most people will not come out until people get to see that one nation has accepted leaders from other, and who, based on not race and color, based on honesty, based on their character, based on what they believe, because that is how most immigrant also think. Because why an immigrant came to this country? Definitely for a better life, betterment for their children, betterment their family. And every immigrant knows that their children, after their death, their children is not going to go to the country that they came from. Do you think your children gonna go to India after you and your wife died? No. So that's what basically one nation. But the thing is that the way media is portraying it, and one nation don't have enough non-white leaders to talk about it. That's why people are not seeing it. But when we'll start talking about it, a lot of they say India and Asians gonna say, yeah, now is one nation. And it's coming. Because otherwise, when I asked the question that is one nation is a white people party, the senator told me no. Now, if they cannot prove it going forward, I will be telling in public that one nation is not. Because if a senator can lie with me, that means that's the perfect example. They can lie with the whole nation. Because I'm an ethically honest human being. I don't have emotion when it decides the betterment. I don't care if my own child is gonna die, but I still, ethical honesty will not be compromised.
So you told many things which are bringing you closer to one nation. Now you support it. What would be those things which can take you away from one nation? What can it do? Like you said that they have to have people from our communities or migrant communities as their candidates. It's not a white people's party. What other thing?
If they want to do anything that will hurt Australia, that's basically it. I don't care about race, color, religious bullshit. As I said, when I wake up, the first line said that I declare war against religion. That was my first line. Because religion is not created by God or Allah or Lord. Religion is created by devil to provoke humans against each other. Because that's the game. And I have reason above that. So those type of childish ego, pride does not touch me. So you can say that I just called almost 5-6 billion people in this world a child. Yes, all of you guys are child. If you guys are still not seeing the fight of two siblings, devil versus human.
Okay. Before closing, let's say you get to meet Pauline Hanson and you have to advise her how she can expand the party more and towards that goal of one day becoming into the government. What's your advice?
I will tell it this way. 2 years ago, I sent an email to liberal leader Susan Ley when she was about to become a leader before that. And I said in my email that you will be the leader of liberal, and these are the things you should look into. Otherwise, you will lose your leadership and your career as a politician within 2 years. This is an email that I have. So if I get to meet Pauline Hanson, I'm gonna tell her this. Look, I am one of the non-knowledgeable human walking on this earth, but I have some wisdom. And from my wisdom, there are 15 points I would present in front of you because I see you as my leader. And in my humble request, I would request you to read these points without ego, without pride, and without any biased emotion towards anyone, but by seeing 27 million Australian as your own people. Those that hold Australian passport, those that call themselves Australian citizens, you see them your people, because that is the meaning of a true leader. And that's it. And after that, how she says, that will basically, I will be able to tell. I have a superpower.
Yeah, that's good. And on that positive note, that we can go ahead and get some more change. Thank you for giving your time.
Now, thanks for
It's
talking.
it's a wonderful conversation, and there's a lot to learn.
Mm. And one last message to Australians: don't panic buy, because when every one of you panic buying, it gives the chance to top 10%, the corporation and such, to make billions of dollar profit, to create temporary vacuum in the supply chain, because they do have a lot of most big companies. Say, for example, as a business, I have more than 3 months of stock stored, because I predicted that this will happen as the first day that Iran and USA war has started. So I prepared. Now I get to sell food cheaper than a lot of other vendors because I planned it. Similarly, all the big companies has planned it, and they have plenty of stock, but they are deciding a stockholder. These are billionaires. They don't give a f about you. You are just a number to them. And they are holding, they are creating, is called, there are certain terms in economics that they do. I have done it for companies as well, because before, when I was 27, after 27, I didn't, because I did not support any unjust. I quit if I see that I can't change it. So don't panic buy. It gives them the chance, because think this way: there are 27 million of us, let's 27 million suffer together. You will see that suffering will have no pain. But if you say that, no, I don't want to suffer, that is a self-centric, selfish, a child has. So at the end of the day, you cannot blame anyone if you become ethical and honest, but yourself, because you are the problem, because your mindset, your mentality, your desire of having, no, I do not want to suffer, is the main reason why Australia is being looted for last 70, 80 years. Think this way: in this whole crisis, the country that made the most of the money profit is USA. Their oil production went triple after war started, because whole Middle East has no oil supply. So you had to go to USA or Russia for the type of oil that world uses is there, or Venezuela. So they took the Venezuela first. They hold the Cuban area as well. Then every single oil company that has Caltech, Shell is all owned by USA. All the big companies, food chain, everything owned by USA corporation. They don't pay much tax in there, because our labor and liberal politician has set up the policies for last 60, 70 years. So people of Australia, don't panic buy, because you are the main reason why they get to loot you. It is you that bending over and say that, give me a big fat one without any oil, because I love it. But you do not understand it. Do your research and find out who owns Australia. In the punching word, Australia cannot even fart without the approval of certain countries. And I'm not against them. I'm telling that, why loot my country? Give me my fair share. Let's do a fair business deal. Otherwise, how my brother in New York who works in NYPD can buy a fuel, Australian fuel, cheaper than I buy in Perth? I should be ashamed of myself as an Australian, as an Aussie. I should be going to the bush and living with kangaroo, because we are always putting our attention to desire and greed of not suffering, that we are forgetting we are the common people. We are a nuclear power. We are a common equation. in every single aspect of life. Without us, there is no politician. Without us, there is no corporation. Without us, there is nothing. And if we unite by forgetting race, color, religious bullshit, Australia can be one of the biggest superpower and rich country in this world, because we have it. We just need to become a bit more wise and clever. Instead, at the moment, we are all or most living a life of selfish dumbness.
All right. On that note, thanks, Simon, again.
No worries, boss.
Hopefully, we'll have you on the podcast very soon. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, boss. Have a good one.